Everyone, my name is Aisha.
And I'm Amanda.
And welcome to A&E Pod Africans Abroad. So it's been a while since the last
It really has, honestly.
Yeah.
I've had people text me like, because we're so popular, people text me like, where's the next episode, etc. And I'm like, girl, chill.
But shout out to all of you guys watching us on YouTube,
Honestly.
even though the sound was not really good.
I'm sorry, y'all. We fixed it.
We fixed it. We
Hopefully.
have mics.
We're going up in the world, like, period.
The sound better be good, or else like we're just
I'm gonna scream.
All right, but yeah, what have you been up to actually the past few
like
weeks?
regular work and stuff. I went back to the gym.
Oh, that's good.
After I stopped for a while, we're back in the gym, guys.
Good.
Summer's around the corner. Get your ass in the gym. Like, don't play with me.
But don't sicken your stomach. Don't sicken your stomach.
Don't forget that. I won't forget next time. Also, I binged watched a bunch of shows while I was off the gym. Obviously, nothing else to do. Like literally, I was walking around with my computer everywhere. Morning, l'ordi. Midi, l'ordi. A patient cancels, ordi. Like, I was all the time
at the clinic.
Everyone was like, "Girl, what are you watching?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching The Resident." So for those who don't know what The Resident is, it's a medical show. And basically, it's about, like the name says, a resident doctor at a hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. So you already know the injuries that you see there are a bit ghetto.
She didn't say ghetto.
Anyways, because I've watched a lot of medical shows, except Grey's Anatomy. Don't drag me in the comments.
Really?
She just found out that Grey's Anatomy.
Really? Like that's the iconic.
I know, that's like the
show.
OG. But what happened is, I'm gonna spoil it because it's like episode 5 that it happens, like season 1. I don't know if you watched it a bit.
No, but I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the residents, literally like 5th episode of the first season, dies. Okay. He gets hit by a bus. I was like, c'est correct. J'ai fermé l'ordi. I was like, thank you. I don't need to see the rest. I don't. If this is what you're gonna do, I really don't need to see the rest.
Oh my god.
So, anyways,
was it like one of the main characters?
He was. I mean, if he died the first season, probably not.
Well,
he looked like the main character.
Game of Thrones.
True. Especially Shonda Rhimes, the writer there, the creator of the show. She likes killing people off just like that.
Wow.
She don't care. She can care less. So I mean, maybe he was, and then like But en tout cas, so The Resident is the story of this resident doctor, and basically he's known for having like unorthodox techniques to diagnose, because he's an internist or médecin interne.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So what he does is he's very good at diagnosing stuff. And like in the show they try to make it seem like not everybody has like a weird illness, but every episode there's a random illness, 1 in 5 million illness.
Like Grey's Anatomy.
Obviously, always, right? And so I love that show. It was 4 seasons long,
which is good,
right? And I was actually so invested. I was invested in everything. So I'm not going to spoil a lot in case somebody wants to watch. But at some point, they kill one of the main characters. I was fuming.
Game of Thrones again.
Another one leaves. I was so pissed. I was like, and then I continued. I persevered because my parents watched the show, but like in French, the French version.
Oh, they did.
They watched it and they're like, no, keep going. It's still good. And I kept going. At the end, I was like, it's good. I'm ready for season 5. Googled it. It says season 5. They canceled after season 4.
No way.
I was pissed. I was so pissed.
No way.
But I really liked it, and I wanted to mention this in the podcast because there's one episode in season 2, I think, where basically you've probably heard about this like on Twitter or TikTok or wherever. Basically, it's pregnancy episode. So this black woman comes into the hospital. She's pregnant. She wants to give birth and everything. She gives birth, fine. The baby's fine.
Okay.
And then her husband, the husband notices that she has like other symptoms that she didn't have before.
Okay.
She was like very tired. She's pale and everything. And so the husband is trying to call for help and everything. So he has the baby, but he's trying to call for help. And he goes to see the nurse, and the nurse is like, "We're very busy. We're gonna send someone like when it's necessary." He's like, "But my wife is not good right now." And then during the episode, you see that the gynecologist or the OB/GYN, the one that did the cesarean to remove the baby, you see that he's a bit like borderline racist. 100%. Because he's like,
already don't like that.
you know what I mean? Because one of the other main characters, his name is Devin. He's like another resident, and he goes to see the surgeon. He's like, I think there's something wrong with her or whatever. And then the guy's like, oh, you know those people, how they are. And he's like, Devin
those
is
people?
Exactly, Devin is Indian. So he's like, what do you mean by those people? What does that mean, you know? And then he goes to see the nurse, la haïssée, genre de l'étage. And she's like, I'll just call, you know, like we don't have the people right now. She's not a priority or something. And he's like, the hell? More of the story, she ends up dying because she was internally bleeding. She was hemorrhaging. She ends up dying.
Wait, and they literally let her die?
Yes, well, they take her to surgery, but it's too late.
Wow.
Because at la fin, she finished bleeding out, you know?
Wow.
It's too late.
And he was there saying, oh, you know, these people.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And then Devin, I wish I could find a clip of it to show you, but Devin at the end, he snaps and he's like, I can't believe in this hospital, like we have these types of people working here. And I'm like, girl, you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Like bombastic side eye. Like, come on.
Side eye.
Like, come on, bro. Like, be serious. And so that happened, and I was thinking, like, because you know, like our podcast is health based, and then like obviously Black community based, Black women, especially because we're Black women.
Yeah.
And I was like, so obviously this is in the States. Everybody knows systematic racism in the States and everything. Everybody knows also Canada has it because regardez like Black women, but also les femmes autochtones.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that story of that lady, right? That was mistreated.
Definitely.
I can't remember which hospital it was at.
Oh, it was, I don't want to say something, don't quote me on that again, but I think it was like Juliette or something
like that, right? J'allais dire Jean Talon, but I see
Jean Talon!
I can't remember, but it's, anyways, it starts with a J, so maybe you're right. But everybody knows that these stories of like, they're not taking people of color seriously. So then I was thinking, I was trying to extrapolate, if that's the word, extrapolating, to the physio community, right? Because I was just telling Aisha this, like, since we're Black, I don't necessarily, I won't have any prejudice against anybody because that's how you're raised, right? You're just, I mean, not how you're raised because we know how people raise us, but that's how you learn because you've went through the stuff that these people are talking to you about, so you don't have prejudice and everything. But then I was like, you know, like, even if I don't, I'm not necessarily sure everybody else doesn't either, you know?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows, like, probably you've heard about this, like the studies and whatever, like the med school people that say, well, we learned that Black people, like, they don't have the same pain tolerance, like their pain tolerance is higher.
Yeah.
It really isn't. I'm telling you, from personal, it really is not. Truly, it's not. Let me tell you that right now.
They still believe that.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. So I don't know how our other physios with, I guess, the patients.
Yeah.
In the sense that maybe because I remember in university we had a course like specifically on the different point of views depending on which culture you come from.
You had that?
Yeah, we had that. It was really interesting.
Girl,
and like we were talking about
win.
Sherbrooke University.
You get points for that.
Okay.
I'm crying.
But throwback time. But anyways,
yeah.
So yeah, but all I know is in our field of practice, I feel like there are still some moments where you're gonna feel like, oh, okay, maybe it wasn't really thought through for Black people or just for people of color. And the best example I have for that, and you know, people really don't think too much when they do things, and it's for that, really, it's not necessarily that they're trying to be mean or anything, but I just remember being, and I'm not gonna name anything, but being in a clinic and hearing, oh, I'm gonna put some taping on you, it's skin color. So you know when they say in French?
Yeah.
And she comes with the taping and it's beige.
And you're
like, so awkward moment because you realize, well, she realizes too that it's not my skin color. But I don't think it was really mean, but all to say that
it's just not inclusive.
Exactly. I guess this is not necessarily something that would be like deadly to you, but it's still little thoughts like this. And the other day I was actually on Instagram and I saw this guy, I don't know where he's from again, but he was making some comme des orthèses pour les amputés.
Yeah.
And you know, again, it's the same thing. Usually their couleur peau, which is literally like white. But he was making them for black people and brown people, so it was really interesting just to see that. Oh, okay, it's starting to be inclusive.
This is in
more
Canada,
and more. A good question. It was just on Instagram.
Okay.
So again, mes sources d'information.
Okay,
but yes,
that's interesting.
It was, yeah.
So, I mean, we're starting small, extremely small, but at least we're getting somewhere. But also, like, because I know in physio, it wasn't really like they don't teach us stuff like that. They don't say like for this, you know. I'm like, they do say like statistics.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's
for
very
certain
true.
For certain illnesses,
Pathologies.
diseases, pathologies, they'll say, you know what, this is you're more prevalent, like black people, more prevalent, women, usually women, always women, more prevalent if you're 50 plus. No, it really is. It's terrifying. 50 plus. They always say that, but they won't necessarily say like, well, let's say. Like for black people, it presents differently because our symptoms are always, or I guess the signs. I don't want to say symptoms because symptoms is subjective. The signs are always like universal. They're not gonna change. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna. Si t'as un bleu, you're gonna have it regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas sometimes, if let's say it's a medical thing, like jaundice, les yeux, but like everything else you don't see. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So pour la physio, on est correct. Like we're good because
most of the time.
Yeah.
But still, I know there's like, and we talked about this on the first episode, but like there's a scratch test that you have to do for like a specific part of the autonomous nervous system. You don't need to know what it is, but basically you scratch the skin and you see if there's like redness appearing on the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not necessarily going to see it well on everyone. So, I mean, there are still a few things where you could see that, okay, it was not thought through again for black people or just for people of color that are darker shades.
Yeah.
But it makes me think about something that you sent me, and it's not necessarily physio related, but it's like mental health related. We're maybe going to talk about that more on an episode where we have someone who's working in the mental field.
Yeah.
Mental field.
Mental health
Psychology or mental health. Yeah. Mental field. Yeah. But just like for example, depression in black people that. You know, usually you have a stereotype or like an idea of what like someone who's depressed is gonna look like or how they're gonna act. And for black people, it's not the same. So it was saying like it was more aggressiveness or what was it again? I can't remember fully. And again, I'm so sorry because so far from the beginning, I'm always saying like, don't quote me on this. That's true. Like, don't quote me on this.
They were just saying the symptoms were going to be a bit more different. It wasn't like, because you know most people would think like depression will affect your mood in a downward motion, like you're more apathic, you know, all those types of reactions and emotions. But they were saying like for black people, sometimes it's opposite. Sometimes it's like explosive, aggressive, like you were saying. I want to even say, I don't know, don't quote me on this. I'm going to say that now. Don't quote me on this.
Just here to bring the info, and you guys have to dig in, but we're not like, don't quote us.
Do the research for you. Come on now. But I think also it's like most black people, I want to say, you can't afford to be like diagnosed with depression. You know what I mean? Because like you're working and then like even if you bring this to your family, they're gonna be like, what are you talking? You know what I mean? Like what are you talking about? So you have to pretend, and that's where like it goes into another sphere. Now you're pretending you're okay, and then you go home and you're like, you know, very down. You know, it's terrible. Honestly, we're gonna dig more into it with the mental health professional. If you are one, DM us. But we're definitely gonna talk about it
in our DM.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about it in more episodes with someone that works actively in the field and everything. But if we're going back to like. For example, for physio, because remember one of the goals of the podcast was kind of to make the profession more known, especially in the black communities, because you know black communities, we don't know it. I actually have a patient. She's from, I'm trying to remember, du Chad maybe, something like that. Okay, and we're back. Sorry guys, technical difficulties again. Even though we said we didn't. En tout cas, you know what I mean.
We're learning. We're slowly learning.
Episode 5 is gonna be excellent. Anyways, as I was saying, the so the patient, she's from Chad. It's funny because I was treating her, so she's a work accident patient. So I treat her a lot. I know her. She was telling me, it's so funny coming here and I have to come for treatments like 3 times a week because that's how the CSST works. She was saying because back home, they would just put herbs on your thing and you would be back to work. Like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, damn, you're right.
It's true.
Like, truly.
It's true though.
It's like you just go see like a healer, a doctor, they give you meds and that's it. They don't
shea butter. It doesn't work.
Literally. I don't even know if they have like physios.
I'm like, my dad.
I mean, you know what? I know they have them like dans les villes, dans les grosses villes. I for sure know they have them.
Yeah. Because I did an internship in like Senegal.
Oh, so we're gonna talk about that one.
That was nice. Yeah, it
we're
was
gonna
really
talk
nice.
about that one. Yeah.
So they do have kinésithérapeute. Well,
but
in
like,
West Africa.
But you know, really, genre, on a vraiment dévié, but listen, y'all, that's how it works. The kinésithérapeute, I found that that's how they say it in French.
No, there's actually a difference.
Really? It's not the same thing? Because I was like, kinésithérapeute is just physio? That's what I thought.
No, there's actually a difference. Because I know, for example, in Portugal, you can go and study physiotherapy. One of my friends, he's French, and he ended up going to Portugal to study physiotherapia.
Sorry, excuse me.
But the difference is little, but there is still a difference.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to what we were talking about. Some places or some communities will not even believe that it's a thing because you know we're very traditional, like Africans, Caribbeans probably too, very very traditional. Like if this is how you used to fix a problem, it's how you're gonna keep fixing the problem. You're not gonna deviate, change or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see sometimes patients come in and not necessarily black, not even necessarily people of color. Sometimes just white people come in and they're like, I didn't even know you guys could do this. I didn't even know you can. Just today I saw a patient. He's young. He was like 35. And I treated his jaw. He has jaw problems.
Oh, wow, okay.
He was like, I didn't even know physios could do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, not many people do.
It's
not
true.
many people do.
It's true because people are thinking like when you go to the physio, it's like for your shoulder, for your
Yeah,
knee,
your
for
back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. But it's true. Like TMJ, like people would be like,
Exactly.
really?
They're like, what do you mean?
What
He
do
went
you
to
have?
He went to see a dentist, and the dentist was like, "Go see a physio." And he was like, "A what?" And the dentist was like, "Yeah, a physio." And he's like, "Are you sure?" Because and I was like, "Valid, very valid." Because when I started first year of physio, I was like, "What? You could do this? Like, what do you mean?" Like, I didn't know this, you know.
I'm sure so many of us physios were like that.
We're like, what? Like, what do you? C'est ça. Pelvic floor?
Yeah.
A gynecologist? You know what I mean? Like oncology? What do you mean oncology? It's a bunch, you know.
So true.
And then we ended up working in it because it's interesting and it's gratifying. But yeah, it's
one of my, I can't say, someone close to me had vertigo and he told someone I knew and the person was like, oh, well, let's just go see a physio because I know Aisha treats that, so we could go see a physio. And the person was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like for my vertigo? What am I gonna do? Like I'm dying. Like how come I'm gonna go see a physio?
I'm crying.
Yeah, and like now a year later, he's like, yeah, best decision of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's true. It's
lot.
interesting. A lot of
It's a
people
lot.
don't know what we can treat.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So if you guys have like questions as well, I know some people will do like, can you treat this? And then sometimes we'll say yes, sometimes we'll say no. If you have questions, just drop them in the comments. Like it doesn't matter. We'll answer it. I'll be happy. She'll be happy. We'll be happy to answer. No problem. And you'll be surprised to know how much we can treat.
Definitely.
That's the thing.
Definitely.
A lot of the times people will say, oh my God, what? You can do this? You can do that? You know, like, so it's interesting and it's good for you guys to reach out. Also, please, for the love of God, millennials and Gen Zers, I'm talking to you guys. Please, for the love of God, get treatments. Like, don't be like, it's gonna go away, whatever. Like, I'm young, it's gonna go away after like 2 months.
Okay,
it really isn't.
To be fair, I'm guilty of that.
Me too, but still, I'm talking to myself too. Sir. I'm talking to myself too. Like, girl, be fucking for real.
Oh my God, yeah.
Literally, go see a treatment.
For real.
So funny. I actually saw a patient on Monday who had what did he have? He had like a hamstring tear or something. And then I was telling him, oh, 2 years ago I had a hamstring tear. He's like, what did you do? And I was like, I went to the gym. Or like a hamstring, I had a pull, guys. I didn't have a tear. Come on. And he was like, and he doesn't have a tear either, sorry. And he was like, so you just went to the gym? Did you do any exercises? And I'm like, well, at work they saw me limping, so they actually gave me treatments, but
okay,
I wasn't, you know what I mean? Because I work in it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't actively being like, I should go get physio.
Yeah.
No,
so true.
I wasn't.
It's like do as we say, not as we do.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Also, stop approaching your physio friends to be like, my back hurts. Can you do something?
Oh my god.
Be fucking for real.
Christmas party.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dear, I need your help. I've had this back issue forever.
Yeah.
Like, as if I'm gonna go to see like my doctor friend and be like, yeah, so I'm having this. Just give me medication, like right now. And you did not assess them. Like you have no idea of the history.
Okay, I'd be like, can you just quickly? But honestly, it would more like prescribe a test. It wouldn't be like prescribe medication. I don't like medication like that. Like, can you prescribe to me a blood draw or something, please? Thank you. I need doctor friends, please. Come on now, real doctors, like not
Real doctor? What does that mean?
like not students. Someone that's already that you're signing, like a real doctor, like docteur Intel. Pas de R in front of your signature there.
Pas de
Pas de R. I want a resident. Sorry, resident. I love y'all, but not a resident right now. I need a real ass doctor. That's what I need. I also need a family doctor. If y'all know anybody.
See how she just put that on the table. Wow.
Je fais des pubs. But yeah,
I'm dead.
yeah. So guys, that was it. That was funny. We actually did talk a lot more than I thought we would. But I'm actually curious if any of you guys have experienced anything, like if you've been to physio or just a doctor or anything, and you've experienced some like borderline comments, because like. It's the same thing, racism. It's also the same thing as fat phobia. Like people like that are a bit heavy. The doctors will be like, lose weight, but like. Peut-être c'est pas ça le problème. Like most of the time, that's not the issue, you know. So it's like if you've had comments said to you, or if you've had like experiences where you're like, fuck, that wasn't cool. Let us know. I'm curious to see, because for sure I'm gonna hear a lot of this. I'm gonna hear a lot of like, my doctor told me to lose weight for my knee issue or something. Like.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, it happens a lot, honestly. So let us know. I'm curious.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now we're gonna do our crazy story of the week.
That's my
this
favorite
person
part.
doesn't watch podcasts because this is gonna be terrible.
Is the person young? Oh shoot.
So I had this patient, I think last week, very young, 30s, in his 30s, like early 30s, right? And he works in a school. So whatever, I'm treating him and everything, and then so I already had vibes, like something's not right here, but whatever, you do you, I'll do me, and we move. And then I can't remember how we got to this subject, but he out and out said, yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm dual citizen, I voted for Trump, I'm a Trump supporter. And I was like,
he said that I'm like, no shame. He just said that like,
this is an open space. We're not in a room. This is open. Everybody heard you say that.
Oh my god.
Like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I agree with his values. I agree with etc. And I'm like,
wow.
You're 30?
But so many, much more people than we think.
But then I was so baffled. I actually asked him, do you know I'm black? Like, do you? And he's like, the nerve. He's like, but Trump loves black people. And I'm like. He's like, so many black people voted for Trump. And so at that moment, it's like I paused what he said in my head. I'm like, I can't dog on black people, that the ones that voted for Trump, because y'all are, don't get me started on y'all. But I had to be like this, you know what I mean? I had to be like, power to the people. I can't say like they're stupid. I had to be like, and I'm very like, nuancé when I'm talking to patients. I don't want to be like, you're wrong, you're right. So I'm always like, oh, how come, whatever. But at this point I was like, no, no, nobody. I'm like, isn't his grandfather like a grandmaster in the KKK? Like, be so fucking for real, be serious. He's like, no, that's just rumors.
That's just rumors?
Yeah, that's what he said. And I'm like,
about what?
About his grandfather being like a grandmaster or whatever in the KKK.
Oh, he said that was a rumor.
Yeah. And I was like, isn't it confirmed? But anyways, I was like, I'm not gonna argue that much. It doesn't matter. And then after, I was like, what about the wall? Like, why would you want to build the wall? You know, like, especially since you know how immigrants will do a lot of the work, like the regular, quote unquote, regular Americans don't want to do. Like, how come you're for the wall? You know, it's like people are fleeing for their lives. They're not. They don't want. They're not coming to your country because they want to. They're just coming because they have to.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, well, I agree with the wall. I'm like,
he agrees with the wall.
yes.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Wow.
He's like, yeah, well, they're right. We shouldn't. He's like, a lot of Mexicans actually are for the wall, and I'm like, who told? Literally, who told you? Literally, I swear. He's like, a lot of the Mexicans that did the well, he said Mexicans because the wall with Mexico, but he meant Latinos, whatever.
Yeah.
But he said a lot of Mexicans are like for the wall because when they did the correct procedure to come to the States, whereas other people they didn't do the correct procedure, so like they're against illegal immigration.
Okay,
and I'm like,
this is oh my god.
My eye roll, I think I gave myself a headache. Je t'aime, eye roll. I was like, B. So literally, I had a headache. I was like,
oh my god.
I was like, really? And he was so serious. And the worst part is, and this is how you know, don't trust everybody out there, guys, because he's so nice. He's literally so nice.
Like,
and
you wouldn't tell, you wouldn't say.
No, and then right directly after, we're talking about random stuff. We're talking about, oh, I would like to go to a trivia night, enter this. In my head, I'm like, you just told me you're a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me let's go to a trivia night.
Yeah.
Be fucking for real.
Together.
Like, but not together. It's just I like trivia nights.
Okay.
And I'm like,
he told you as if like it was not.
because we were. I can't remember. Somebody else said something, and then I answered, and then we were talking about that, and then I was like,
wow,
sir,
as if he didn't say anything.
Literally, as if he didn't drop a bomb on my head.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But you know.
And then he was like, because he was talking about Obama, and then everybody knows. Well, not everybody knows. You're gonna know now. I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? Very, very not indifferent. I'm plus ou moins about Obama because he did start wars, right? Like he started
did some
wars.
things,
He did good things. He did extremely bad things as well. So I'm always like, you know, but it's like, what president is it, right? And then he's like, yeah, well, what war did Trump start? And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to know? I wasn't following Trump like that. I didn't even want to follow what he was doing, but I was like, you kind of got me there. I was like, did he start a war? And I'm like, maybe he did.
Did you go look and find out?
No, but I'm pretty sure he removed troops from, I can't remember where. And I'm like,
true.
I was like, you got me there. I was like, you actually got me there. You ate that one thing. That's the only thing you ate, but also, did you really eat? Because we still, you know what I mean? Like, we still don't rate him that much, you know? So he was like, yeah, well, compared to Obama, I'm like, don't ever in your life, don't you dare, look at this. But come on, bro.
One interesting, so you mentioned something and it made me think about my crazy story of the week.
Okay, perfect.
Because, so it's also a patient. And, but
these
she's
patients
she's not like a millennial.
Okay.
But I swear, I think she watched a TV show or something. Like, it cannot be something that she thinks out loud. So basically, she's also a Trump supporter. And she
what is going on this week? Everybody's a Trump supporter now? What's going on?
I swear. That's what
matter of fact, he's getting arrested. Allegedly.
So that's what she started with. She started by asking me, did you see the arrest of Trump? And then I was like, no, actually, I don't really follow like that. So she's like, well, you're going to see, wait for this, in 6 months, all the presidents, so Trump, Macron, which is the French president, and she named a bunch of them. Yeah. They're going to come out and they're going to say that they've been arrested by some reptiles. It only starts,
like,
it only begins
like figuratively reptiles?
Like reptiles, like actual reptiles.
Actual what?
Actual reptiles.
Like alien reptiles?
Like alien reptiles or whatever, like reptiles that are living, like reptiles like crocodiles.
I wish.
I don't know if crocodiles or reptiles, but yes. And now that's only the beginning, okay? So apparently they're trying to save the population because a bunch of reptiles, more than 100 years ago, came on the planet Earth, and now, so they're slowly taking away way are celebrities. So that's why when you look at, and I'm quoting her, that's when you look at Michelle Obama, when you look at, what's it called? Anyways, any celebrities, you're gonna see that they have longer fingers. Sorry about that. And that's because apparently they've been eaten by reptiles, and now it's their clones on like just walking on the planet Earth.
Stop right there. I actually heard about this clone story.
But it's a show. Like, again, shout out to Jeremy. He was talking about the fact that literally everything that this patient has said was in a show. Oh. So it's not over yet, because apparently now those celebrities, in order to stay young, they're eating babies that they take from African countries, from human trafficking. So that's why the whole human trafficking is going on, because we need to eat babies to stay young. Again, I'm quoting her, okay? But that's not even where it ends. So, you know, for example, Celine Dion, apparently she's gotten a little older, so
she's sick.
Well, apparently she's not sick. It's because she stopped eating those babies, and now, well, she's getting old, because apparently when you eat those babies, you are staying young. So that's my crazy story of the week. And honestly, it was really interesting. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily agree with what she says. I actually don't. But it was really interesting, and she was talking for the whole session. All I had to say was
she
like,
very serious? Like, she was serious?
She was really serious, yeah. To be fair, she did tell me, like, the next time I saw her, she did tell me sorry about, like, everything I've said last time, because it was a bit intense.
Oh my god,
but
thank God.
It's just that...
What?
I was hearing her, like, talking, and literally, it looks like there's... I don't know if you guys... Maybe put it in the comments. There's a show on Netflix, according to, again, Jeremy. Like, there's a show on Netflix.
Put it in the comments. Jeremy, put it in the comments. Thank you. got confused.
Yeah,
hopefully,
exactly.
But I have heard about the clone thing, because they were like, whose clone were they saying was out? Like Paris Hilton? I can't remember. Some celebrity. They were like, yeah, that's her clone. That's not really her. And I'm like,
yeah. And she said if you look at their eyes, you're gonna see it's reptiles. Exactly. Like, it's not their real eyes. It's a reptile's eyes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a crazy story, guys. What the hell?
So, again, no, I'm not gonna say that. That's too much. Yeah.
It takes the cake.
It's what?
It takes the cake on every crazy story we've said.
Honestly,
the whole time.
Some patients are really entertaining. Like, you just have to listen to them. They have a bunch of things to tell you. It's really entertaining, and then you get to have cool stories to tell.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's finish off with the song of the moment. I think we're done. They're kicking us out of the room.
They're literally kicking us out.
Literally. My song of the moment. Everybody knows this. Unavailable.
It's so good.
Like,
so good. So good. We're gonna put the song on TikTok, so go follow us on TikTok. We're gonna put the song on TikTok.
It's so good. It's so good. What about yours?
My song of the moment is Soweto.
Period.
But the remix with Rema, Dante Oliver. I never know if his name is Dante Oliver or Don't Deliver, but
Don't Deliver?
Don't Deliver.
Oh, I heard Don't Deliver. I was like,
Don't Deliver or Don't Deliver.
Oh, everybody knows. You know the TikTok dance, right?
For people listening on Spotify, because now we're gonna have Spotify.
We're doing the dance.
Yeah.
And